really interesting. Wow. Yeah, really interesting how he considered the fold so heavily because people just under bluff in these $400 tournaments. It's really, really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what are his bluffs? You know, like if we really think about it, like sure, ace high has some showdown value if you had ace five, and when he raises the turn with maybe some backdoor diamond draw or something like that, and he actually gets called in on this kind of board. Like, what hands do you have that you're folding?
And it's gonna have some misdraws and things too. So I think calling is the only option myself. Let's see if Boogaloo got away from it. Ooh, call is 6.
So this is close between call.
Really interesting. So call is 6, raise is 7,500 is 10 points. And I'm going to say he said that because this is a very bad player. And so he thinks the very bad player is going to stack off here with worse queens a lot. I'm going to guarantee that's what he's going to say. Very interesting, though. I thought call for sure was the right answer. I never am in this spot. I don't know. Interesting spot, too. I think this is a little bit of a lesson for everyone out there, too. A lot of times, the hands we want to float with, like this one, are better as raises. So this kind of falls in that category.
Yeah, and he was kind of an echo chamber for us there, saying, you know, we just get better hands to call and worse to fold. Yep. Like, he's going to have some gut shots in his range. He's going to have spade draw. He's going to have king X. And we kind of know, I mean, we kind of identify kind of what cards are going to be bad for us on future streets. And we're aware how to proceed on those cards.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's a very good point. You right.
That was the best. You didn't say anything. You won. Just straight up.
You won. I'm just
All right, so ooh, look at this. You're not opening this. You just looked at this. You're not opening.
Button cut off, hijack, low jack, under the gun one. You are right.
Come on now. Okay. I am. So let's see if he.
He's got to open it, or there wouldn't be a hand.
It wouldn't be a
I'm already
quiz.
down on points.
You're already down on points in real life. Now, obviously, you're gonna cheat, but
I'm gonna evolve.
you're gonna adapt, right?
All right, let's play it.
I'm going to cry if he says he's folding here. Like, if he's like, yeah, you should be folding this in this kind of tournament, and you were actually right. All right, cool.
Wah, wah.
Like a spot where we have
Ah!
standard.
Yes!
And the reason is because queen.
I just want to say for the record that this is the best 3-point score I've ever gotten in my life. Because the right answer was fold.
The right. But you heard what he said about the tables. This is a 3K.
Here comes the excuses. 10
The
points
excuses
fold.
to
It says
open
right
if your
here.
table is particularly tight and weak. Welcome to the $5 2K world. I mean, you know, the $11 10K. I'm opening this, yeah, for sure.
This is the best 3 points of my life.
Oh, that's hilarious. And everybody's 14.
nailed it. What the hell kind of play is that from King Queen? Who does that?
What the hell? Yeah, so Mad Dog.
Jonathan Little's an absolute crusher, so it's nice to have him.
Yeah, I agree, and I
Just
always love
coaching.
playing right after sessions like this because I feel like my brain's warmed up. I'm thinking through things, and so it's a good way to start your session for sure.
Right. All right, guys, this is it.
What's up, Mike? You want to give a gist? He was saying Narco Cop was playing about depipping about 28% of hands. He had been very aggressive in this $10 buy-in, and here are the options to fold, to call, to raise to 1,200, raise to... What? Wait a minute, he made it 800, and my man's giving options to 12 and 1,400 ounces. So it's already getting kind of spicy. That's so nasty. To be on the site with these other crushers, you know, well-known poker public figures is pretty exciting, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I didn't mention that when I was kind of giving a little intro here too. You know, Assassinato, Matt Affleck, John Little, all coaches on the site, so very highly respectable, quality poker content.
Yep, Evan Jarvis as well. You know, remember Evan Jarvis, Matt Affleck, Assassinato, John Little.
Yeah, so I guess that just makes sense. He just have the ace of clubs in his hand. That's interesting, though. I
How
thought
many
that was
points you got?
interesting.
You didn't do that bad. 45.
I like how you just pat me on the back. You didn't do that bad. Well, yeah, good job, buddy. Like,
The back.
I remember I got the higher score in the first one. So, you know, we're 1 for 1, buddy.
I just want to know.
Calling, guys. Let's see if we're good.
Similar situation. That's pre-flop? I think pre.
All right, guys, we're checking, I guess. Oh, for fuck's sake.
One of the things I see people when it comes to poker is when you can get to the turn and
When you're facing a min raise or just a touch more than a min raise, and there's an ante in play, which is going to be the case in most tournaments, I think, going forward, you want to defend pretty wide. If your opponent's making a 2.
All right, cool. You're going 1,400.
I'm going 1,400, guys.
I'm gonna go call with the arm and just see what happens.
All right, and
I would fold in game though, for the record, in case that's the winning game.
You won. You win. I have to concede. You win.
14K.
14K, let's do it.
Let's do it.
No, we can't win. This is a pretty rough spot because damn it.
Mm-hmm. Where you gonna get my chat? They like naughty things. They like just beer, alcohol, you know.
All right, let's do I can do a $10 ACR giveaway.
$10 ACR giveaway courtesy of my man Toe. For me beating that ass heads up in this. Sorry. No, I'm kidding. We'll do this. We'll have to do it at least once a week, man. And then, you know, we'll do it. We'll do it every week a couple times.
So it's a tie.
I guess we got to give out $10 to each other's communities. We'll just do our own $10 free roll for each. Or does that sound fair?
Yes. Do you know what this means?
You win. I give his chat $10. Take it.
So that's cool
Filthy
because we have
animal.
2 ties and then a win from you and a win from me. This is like the epic battle. It's perfect. It's great.
Yeah, we're even Stevens.
This is awesome.
Take it.
I love it.
You know.
Stop. We got a giveaway going. Let's run the giveaway for the $10 ACR winner. Closing the giveaway. Drawing the winner. My man Sebs are getting the $10 ACR giveaway for this one. All right, guys, we are live for the PokerCoaching.com study stream. We're back again here this Saturday and every Saturday at noon Eastern. Exclamation point PC in my chat, exclamation point PC in Six's chat. For you to link to sign up for free for Big Blind Charts for 100 blinds or more. I think it's up to 20 quizzes and a bunch of homework assignments. If you sign up for premium, there is charts and webinars and homework assignments and the private Discord. There's tons of resources out there for you. Make sure you check that out. I'm here with my main man, Crazy Sixes. How you doing, buddy?
I am great, man. I'm super excited. Good morning to Army Sixes Mafia. What's up, everybody? We are excited. We got a very special guest. Someone, I mean, I'll look up to. We watch him. He streams. I think he was streaming not too long ago. Maybe during the series, I was lurking a little bit. But yeah, we're super excited to have him here. Co-founder just started trading site, helping you guys out with some ranges, hand ranges, optimal. Mr. Jesse James Sylvia. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I appreciate the lurking.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, I seen you streaming. I was like, oh shit, I gotta see this because you used to stream a lot more. Like I don't know, was it a couple of years now? And yeah, it was nice to see you back on the streets, man. It's fun.
Yeah, I don't know why I stopped. I must have burned out a little bit or something. I did it for fun, and then I started doing it almost every day. And
Uh-huh.
I don't know what happened with that, but as soon as I started streaming these bracelet events, I was having a great time. I don't know why I ever stopped doing
Yeah,
it.
he was doing his thing. It was fun to watch. It was fun to see. So how you doing, man? What's been going on with you? You've been playing. Can you tell us a little bit about Floptimal and yeah, all that fun stuff?
Yeah, a lot going on. I mean, we had, during lockdown, COVID, whatever you want to call it, last year and a half, I had a few projects. Floptimal was the big one of them. But I did a lot of work with some students. I started like a staking group and was doing a lot of coaching, a lot less playing, and kind of like trying to be more hands-on with it. And then I subsequently ended the staking group, but did still like do a lot of work with players on their game and stuff. Floptimal was kind of like a byproduct of me and two friends sitting around talking about like the ideal study tool for us, and kind of what it would look like. And then one of our friends has a huge history in the tech world and is very talented in that space. And she was like, why don't we just make this? And before that, I was kind of like, I have trouble logging into my email. So that was the first time I ever thought, we could make something that we wanted. So I was like, oh yeah, let's do that. And that was kind of what came out of it.
Nice. Now, how long have you guys had that launched?
I think we launched July 1st.
Oh, wow. So it's
June 1st.
June 1st. Okay.
So
they got I see you guys got some free stuff out there. I was checking that out.
Also, guys,
well.
I have it up on my screen too if you want to get a view of like kind of what it looks like.
Here, yeah, I'll put a link to it as well.
Cool. Need to open the
Yeah, so really stoked. One, that you're doing well. Two, that you have this project going on. Three, like, do you offer coaching? Is that something you want to push, or is it kind of more like you're capped on students right now? And
I do. I mean, sorry. I was just trying to open your stream so I can see this. I do offer coaching. I kind of keep it a little bit capped right now because I'm just so busy with other stuff.
Sure.
If I ever meet people who are just super into poker and are working really hard on their game and want to like do some sessions, they have like specific questions, especially that they, I can more efficiently answer than them trying to go out and figure it out on their own.
Uh-huh.
I'll like do some sessions with people, but yeah, I'm not like out there trying to add more people or anything like that.
Cool.
Right on.
But I get really excited when people are super passionate about poker. It's just such a fun game, and I think it's so interesting.
Yeah, I get it. And like, it's so like I hated school and had issues, high school and college. But Sixes and I study poker at least 4 days a week. And before the stream kicked off and you were here, Six is like, I think I'm going to study today. And I'm like, oh, well,
like the group after.
We're on day 5 in a row, and yeah, so it's funny. We love it.
Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy how like I'm the same way. I was super ADD and I was a math major and, I barely made it through school. And it's just so easy for me to sit down and study poker. And it's just like, where did I go wrong with my choices at school?
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show you what the difference is when you're studying something you love versus, chemistry or something that you're not interested, history or whatever it is that you're not interested, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny how that works. Cool. Yeah. Well, all right, guys, let's pick a quiz. We'll come back.
Giveaway. Pick poker coaching in the chat. We got to get the poker coachings in the chat.
I was going there.
Then we'll pick a quiz.
I was going there. We're going to pick a quiz. You guys put poker coaching in the chat. That's the first keyword. If you guys are joining us for the first time, the way this is going to work is you guys type poker coaching in the chat. We'll draw a random winner from my stream. We'll draw a random winner from Six's stream. And then we'll have you guys compete in one of these quizzes that you see on the screen. We'll let the quiz go. We'll ask the people who we draw to try and answer as quick as you can. And if you can, tag me and Sixes at GodsBigToe, at Crazy Sixes, because it'll be easier to see as the chat's scrolling by. And try and be prompt with it. We'll let the audience say what they're going to do. We'll tell you what we would do. We'll see what the quiz thinks, and then we'll have a nice little talk. And if you get more points than the other player on the other stream, we'll send you $5. So that's how it works. I already see a bunch of poker coaches coming in here.
Oh, yeah, they're getting in there. Hell, yeah. Good morning, guys. Let's get ready. Let's get a little bit better today. I think a lot of what we covered, we've had a lot of good guests on recently. So, yeah, let's just get a little bit better every single Tell me study. Yeah, let's pick one. I mean, when we say pick one, let's find the Faraz one and go for it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, we
start
have
with the
Faraz
Faraz
on. That was
That's
good.
funny.
Yeah.
So you want to start with 1359? Jesse, you still have a login to see the quizzes and stuff? You're just going to watch it on the stream? How do you want to handle that?
I just had it up on the stream, but what is it, like a 4-second delay or something?
Yeah, something like that. You want to wait
Do you think it's
you want to
too
wait
slow?
that
I
out?
can log in.
All right. I'll on Twitter send you the poker coaching login in case you want it.
Yep.
No, I got to find it now that I said that.
You sent it to me, I believe. Let me see if I can find it. Because we sent it to somebody else. All right, guys, while we work this out, get your poker coachings in the stream. We're going to pick somebody, and then quiz number 1359. That is the one. Ace King off in the big blind versus a button raise. Cool. Let me see.
It's trying to find
You good?
I always have to dig up the damn.
I got it.
Oh, you got it?
Well, for you, and you told me to
just want to
remove the last symbol.
Yeah, there you go.
Here.
So just message.
There you go.
Oh, cool.
I just messaged you.
What's the username?
Got you. 1 second.
We're prepared.
Yep. All right, guys. Sorry about the slight delay. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. All right. Let's go ahead and draw. Let's see who it is. Come on, baby. Solo Asylum.
Oh,
my dude.
Right out the gate, I bring the 6 head in.
Who you got?
Drugs. It's the 6 head. Let's
go.
go.
It is literally the 6 head guy.
That's the Drugs in the house representing the army, my man.
That's so funny. If he wins, don't pay him.
Don't
what up,
pay
Solo?
him.
Get his ass, Solo. All right. I'm ready when you are. When you guys are.
I'm ready to go. While you're doing that, I'm getting Jesse to log in.
Oh, yeah. Let's give him a second to get the login. No big rush. We chilling this morning, guys.
I got the stream up too, which is nice because I can
see chat.
Not be on the wrong page by mistake or whatever.
A little fail safe.
Yeah.
Carter, thank you for that sub, buddy. Hope you're having a good morning. Thank you for the 6 months, man. Really appreciate that. The support.
All right, let's go play. Ready?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, we got Ace King here playing 2-5 no limit online. Got it open from the button to us. What do we want to do? Do we want to call? Do we want to re-raise to 38.5 or re-raise to 52.5?
All right, Ace King facing a little raise. What are you doing with Ace King here, guys?
We 3-bet or cool?
This is a cash game, I take it?
Yeah, this looks like a cash game.
Okay.
The Carter says he's going 52. Yeah, we usually give these guys an opportunity to go since they're competing for a couple bucks, and then we'll have at it. Give the chat a chance to get it wrong.
Jugs, speaking of getting it wrong, Jugs raising to $52.
As is the Carter. So since we got those guys out of the way,
I see a decent amount of 52s in here. A lot of people going 38.
I see 2 calls. I mean, and then a 38. The Carter going 52, Jabroni going 38. I mean, Jesse, what were your thoughts on this spot? Well, we can get to it since the guys that were competing already answered. Yep.
I mean, I think the only real mistake would be calling. So I think the bigger you go, the better. And 52 is just going to be making you more money than 38 generally. But if you have some kind of weird read, like, you know, the smaller size induces late 4-bets, we kind of have a nice hand to induce late 4-bets. It's also a hand that we really don't want to induce late peels as much because the offsuited hands play bad out of position comparatively. So, I mean, I would definitely go at least 52. I've been sifting through a lot of cash game data lately, and I feel like you'd even want to go larger than that, like 60 something. Yeah. Like I've been like 5.5xing out of the big blind lately versus an open. maybe versus a 2.5, I go like a little smaller, but I think
that's going
a
to be
really large. Yeah, you're pretty polar out of the big blind. You really want to be using a pretty big size, I think.
So when you use that bigger sizing, are you going to be leaning more towards 150 plus, or you still think it's applicable at 160 effective? Like, what's the cutoff where you think maybe we just start going 4 or 5x, or do you think you go 6x, 150, 200 plus versus a lot of guys?
I think like 100 bigs plus. I'm going like 5.5x, 5.25,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Well, actually, yeah, like 5.5 or even bigger. As we get shorter, I'll size it down a bit. I think
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, like all tournament sizes. You know, like the shorter we get, the less we need to
use those sizes. I was just wondering with the threshold, like if it's going to be like if we're at 150, 200 bigs, we probably just go 6x, and then at 160 to 100, 5x, 4.5x probably good.
Yeah. I might even like air towards 5 always at least.
Mm-hmm.
When you're over 100, when you're 100 bigs or more.
Yep, I like it.
5.5x, but yeah, exactly.
Let's see, re-raised to 58. I thought it was big blinds. Now this is 2.5x open. But yeah, I'm always using the biggest size. Toe, I know you very well. I'm sure you're using a big ass size.
Yeah, big ass size.
Whatever. Not this side, not 38. So yeah, the 52 for me, you, Jesse, and
I'd actually
Carter,
probably somewhere be in
52.
between. I like going bigger. Bigger's cool. But I normally would go like 4x or so. But yeah, I mean, I can get behind 5. I'm down.
Yeah,
especially
at 100 anymore.
Yeah.
I think I think from like the small blind, you're fine using that size. It's just the big blind really likes because because so many hands are so profitable as appeal. It's it just becomes nice to size up a little bit when you actually
that makes a lot of sense.
3-bet because you have a very strong range.
Yeah. No jam. Is this limit poker? This quiz is broken. You're not just gonna rip 100 pigs. Sheesh. Thanks for the 34 months, Shower Vote. I appreciate you, buddy.
All right, let's do it. 52.
52 for us. Let's do it.
I'm definitely 3-betting here, and I am 3-betting pretty large. I'm going 52.5. So a good thing to remember is when we 3-bet from the big blind, our range is very polarized. Whereas when you 3-bet from the small blind, your range is more linear. Let's think about that for a second. In the small blind, we're 3-betting stuff like King 10, suited broadways, Ace-X suited. Why are we 3-betting them? We're just simply 3-betting them because we want to kick out the big blind, get heads up. We want to lower the SPR so that we minimize the advantage that in position has. When you're deeper, in position has more advantage. So small blind's 3-betting for different reasons, which is why they're willing to kind of, threaten to waste some decent hands and get 4-bet and have to fold some decent hands. Whereas big blind doesn't need to do that. We're already heads up. We're already closing the action. We're not multi-way out of, we're not out of position multi-way. So the big blind's 3-bet range is just way more polar. We're kind of 3-betting the really good stuff or the bottom of our calling range, stuff we don't mind wasting, etc. And when you're more polar, you want to use large bet sizing. So that's driving that. He calls. Flop is 7-6-3. We got 2 diamonds on the board. We have 1 in our hand. What do we want to do here? We can check. We can c-bet 32, c-bet 54, or c-bet 86.
All right, guys. So that's a pretty good one. Can you not hear the quiz, Jesse?
Oh, I see. There's audio. I couldn't hear anything. I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, we were like, it just got quiet.
We were all listening and
we're just staring at you, Jesse. We're waiting for you.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, so basically what you missed is Faraz pretty much reiterated a lot of what you said, that from the small blind we have wider 3-bets, but from the big blind
we're more linear.
We're way more polar because
right.
we can just flip a chip in and see a flop.
And we get to close the action, and we can waste more hands from the small blind, he was saying, whereas because we don't close the action, but yeah, he obviously likes a bigger size here as well.
Yep.
All right, chat, what are we doing? I see nothing but bombs. 54, 54, 86. Check raise for it all. God damn, RJ. Check for Carter.
Yeah, I see a few 54s, 32 coming in here. Can't check, says Rainus. 54, 54, 54, 54. Lots of 54s. Harley, Meatball, Beats, Felice Suerte. All the legends go in 54. Tony.
Damn.
I don't see drugs yet.
Carter's checking. And Jabroni's going 54. I see a lot of half pops.
I think it's a leading board with if we just flatted.
Deuterino's checking.
That's probably true. There's definitely more leads on this board than a lot of other ones.
Yeah, check, Rossi. These are dollars, not blinds.
Yeah.
These numbers.
21 big blinds, $107.
A few check calls out there. What up, Machine Gun? Good morning. What are you doing, drugs?
Waiting on the drugs. Less the drugs. Board favors the button. But
so 32 check or 32
check
leaning check, he says.
Terrible, but me, a fold equity or amount is probably preferable. Grader is going 3 and 2, 32. What did drugs do?
He said check at 32. He's leaning check.
He's leaning check. And the Carter was checking as well. Jesse, you got thoughts on c-betting here? I feel like I'm c-betting.
Yeah, 3-bet c-bet for me, right?
Yeah, I think I'm almost always c-betting. I bet if you ran it, it's
probably
mixing some checks occasionally, but probably c-bet. I think it's probably somewhat close between 32 and 54. These low card boards, you like to size up a bit.
Because your value range would need some protection, like all your overpairs would have.
Your nines, your tens, your
bet.
jacks would bet bigger, right?
Yeah, well, that and like, you don't really want to give basically every hand in their range has 2 overcards to this board, and you don't want to give them a great price to just float with those hands in position because a lot of them are doing quite well against your ace kings.
Yep.
Not just because of our specific hand, but just in general, they're getting a really good price to float, and that seems. When I think about bet sizes on the flop, I think about like what is the largest portion of hands in their range if you want to like give each hand class like a type. So in this situation, and then how, what size makes that range have the hardest time, or that portion of the range. So like in this situation, the biggest portion of their range is clearly like a 2 overcard type of hand. But they do have a lot of 2 overcard hands without any sort of backdoor or front door flush draw, especially when we have the king of diamonds and the ace of spades. So that's really nice. I think maybe with our particular combo, sizing to like 32 is actually really cool. If we had like ace king club heart, I'd be more likely to size up or whatever.
Yeah, that's why we block both the front door flush draw and all their backdoor flush draw combos, right? Because we block the suited ace combos and
backdoor,
king queen suited, king jack suited, king 10 suited. Well. Yeah, absolutely.
Their number of hands that are suited on this flop are going to be way higher than their off-suited hands, right? Like they'll have like ace queen off sometimes, and they'll have like king queen off sometimes or something, but they're just going to have tons of suited broadways, and they're going to fold most of their off-suited broadways to the 3-bet, especially if you size really large. So yeah, like these two-tone boards are actually, we're worried less about them floating us than if it was a rainbow board where they have 3 different possible backdoor flush shots.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Totally agree. Yep. Yeah, I would go 32 here. I mean, I'd 3-bet, c-bet small.
I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of sims. I would definitely see that, but I would be indifferent on my sizing here because it feels like some of our range would want to use a large sizing, and I would probably use a large sizing here as well. So I'm more likely to go large, but I would definitely 3-bet, c-bet.
I would guess 54, but if it came up with 32, I wouldn't be terribly surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I've just seen enough sims where we 3-bet and then enough of our range has a big sizing and would go larger at this deep of an SPR to try to get money in with its value hands that it uses a larger sizing. So yeah, I wonder, I would. Yeah, go ahead, Tom. I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I was just saying, like, yeah, with a lot of our overpairs and stuff, it feels like what I've seen, it just would go large and go large again.
Yeah, the pocket 9s and 10s and stuff is what you're referring to, right? Because I know those.
Yeah, I mean, then like maybe even some kings and stuff like that. All of our overpairs can just still go large here to start stacking worse overpairs and draws and things like that, and get max value from hands he can't fold. So I don't know. I would be like 60 myself personally,
Cool.
but
60%.
but let's see. Both the guys checked,
It did.
and let's do it.
All right.
Let's see if Ross checks. I don't think so. Motherfucker.
I'm playing heavy check on this board.
For Roz,
The reason is we're very deep, and that board
Let's run this toe.
gives our opponent a much larger nut advantage.
I got it.
I have to know
We're
it.
not really
you already have it?
3-betting 7, 6,
I have
and
some
3s. It's possible we might sprinkle in some 7s, but we don't have that many of them. We should be 3-betting 6, 7 suited. Not everyone does. Nonetheless, our range is just more centered around big cards, whereas our opponent's range is a little more condensed around what's out there. So in that situation, we're going to play a very heavy check. We're going to check a lot of our overpairs as well here. So there's nothing wrong with checking a hand like ace king. It's not obvious that we have ace king. We could totally have aces kings here. If our opponent isn't aware of that and just puts us on ace king every time, then hey, the time you have aces and kings here, you're gonna make a lot of money because they're gonna under realize how much you're checking here with a lot of big hands.
You're balanced, fair.
So we check. Opponent bets 32. We can call the 32, or we can check raise to 135, or we can fold.
I got like a Z. I wonder what the big size was. It has to be a fucking 0 or something. Your preview gave this is a 10.
Yeah.
Surprise
Surprise check.
explanation as well. Yeah, you just see it a lot, but he made some very good, compelling points. So, yeah, what are you guys thinking here? We check folding, check calling, check raising.
Drugs coming out with the snap call. Call. Lots of calls. Nobody fold.
Woo! Tino flexing.
People like the call.
Everybody calling. I don't see any other stuff out there.
Solo calling. Oh, wait a minute. Did I get it wrong? Oh, man. I'm sorry, Solo. My bad.
Did you misclick or something?
I picked the wrong person. He went to 54.
You can just back up and we're only one street.
Yeah, my bad. My bad, dude. He's calling. A minute.
Joel says probably a good check raise spot with this combo.
Oh, piss.
Raging Al says all in, of course. That's Al. Didn't check the fold yet, says Cat. Lots of calls and one considering a check raise.
You should have just let it go. You shouldn't have
You
told
should
me.
have just took the 10 points.
The 54 is a 2.
Bro.
Oh, piss. Raise to 135, call.
I mean, I have all calls and 2 raises. Mr. Beats.
Yeah. All right, we're calling here.
Joel.
That's what Solo's doing. Personally, I would probably just tend to check call and maybe not check raise this. But I mean, you can talk me into it. But I don't know. I'd probably just at least check call here every single time. I don't think I'm ever folding.
For me, 2 overs and a backdoor flush, like I probably end up check calling here too. But I know I do that a little too much. God, we have.
Yeah,
I wish we had like some sort of straight draw to go or backdoor straight draw to go with it. A little more equity, I guess, is what I'm looking for. You just going ham here? Like, I guess the other thing too is like I don't check here, so I'm so I'm not in this a lot. I see bet this a lot. So what are you doing, Jesse? As played?
Yeah, I'd probably call. I think the problem with check raising is you're kind of turning your hand into a bluff. If he shoves, you're in a very odd spot. You don't really ever want to put yourself in spots where you feel terrible about calling and you feel terrible about folding. And this is one of them. It's not the worst check raise because you do have a diamond. You can maybe like turn diamonds and get some better hands than yours to fold occasionally. People like hero fold 8s or 9s or whatever. But I think like the main issue to me is if you check raise and they just rip, like a flush draw or something, or a hand like pocket 8s. You have a lot of equity versus those hands, and to get bluffed off of that equity is pretty bad. Like you're like 50% versus a flush draw, a little better versus an ace-high flush draw. You're 25% versus pocket 8s or something like that. So I'm not really thrilled about getting bluffed off that much equity.
Ket brings up a good point too. Like we were talking about how we block the backdoor flush draws. Like that's kind of a problem too because we block their shittiest continues, right? Because they're not going to continue as much with when we check raise. a lot of what they're going to continue is the backdoor draw stuff, right?
Yeah, and on the other side of that too, like you kind of want to divide your hands up for the most part by playability, right? So check calling an ace king combo with a diamond in it is really nice, because you have more board runouts where you don't feel terrible about putting more money in the pot later on.
Sure.
So I mean,
Works both ways.
Yeah.
Cool. We are calling. That's what Drugs is doing.
That's what we're doing as well. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
He's calling. Oh shit.
I'm just calling here. Check raising is okay. We do have the diamond in our hand, so I don't mind it, but we don't have any backdoor straight draws, so we just don't have a lot of good turns to barrel on. So that's why I just prefer to call, beat a bunch of bluffs still. So yeah, I'm happy just calling. We have showdown here. If there was maybe a 10 or jack or queen on the board, I would maybe consider check raising sometimes. But yep, just calling here. Turns a king. I'm going to give you the option to lead here. We can check, we can lead 103, or we can lead at 145.
Shit get there on the 10.
And shit getting weird. It gives you lead options. Is this a card we want to lead?
We leading, just going straight to the checking. Is there a lead? Are we ever leading in a tournament spot like this on this card?
True Goat says check raise potentially. Check for drugs. Lots of checks.
Tino, lead 145. Taking the most aggressive option every goddamn time.
Rainiest check raise.
Yeesh.
Check. Tony bets. We got one bet out there. What do we do on the flop? We check call.
RJ checking, my dude. I do not want them to see a diamond river, but I don't want them to just fold if they have queen. So what are you doing here, my dude? Solo
Twisted
Asylum.
Tony out in Bet Island all by himself. Just him and Wilson. Lonely on the island.
All right, he's checking.
Check. Oh, there's one. Now you said it, Bets. 103.
You got somebody leading?
I got Twisted Tony leading big, and now you said it leading small. And cool. Jelly leading small.
Cool. I'm only checking here.
Me too.
Is this a spot for a lead? I mean, I don't know. This doesn't look like a spot I've ever seen. Maybe it'd be some super nuanced spot where we have a lead, but I've never. Nope.
Usually we lead too with cards that like change the board texture.
And then I can't even like say in a 3-bet pot if it's a thing. Maybe in some kind of monotone board, rare situations I could see it and some stuff like that, but I don't know. This doesn't seem like it's a 7, 8, 9 board in a 3-bet pot or something, but Mafia gang checking in too. Jesse, you ever leading this?
Seems like a never. Seems like a never.
I'm with you guys. I think the times when you want to lead is when a card comes off that is way better for you than your opponent, and part of leading is because they identify that and they check back a lot. This isn't right. I mean, we have ace king and that's about it that this card affects.
And it seems like situations also where they show up in situations where they bet their entire fucking range in a spot. It seems like that. Like if they're betting range in spots and then you show up and it's a board pairing card that's good for your range, you can probably just find a lot of leads because they're showing up to the turn with their entire lead.
Or maybe something like
you're more condensed.
5, something like that.
Yeah, spots like that more so.
No, yeah, top card pairing, middle card pairing. I guess all the cards pairing.
Yeah, a lot of cards pairing.
Really
they're showing up their entire range. Yep,
for sure. This is actually like bad for 2 reasons. One, because the only king we have really is ace king. We're not like check calling. We might occasionally check call like king queen with diamonds or with spades or something, but we really don't have any other kings. And then also this is a pretty nice card for him to bluff because we have so few kings. So
yeah, he's supposed to double this card a lot, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not 100%, but I would imagine he's barreling a good bit.
Good chunk.
It's certainly a card that favors him a lot.
Yep.
We've got like when we check call here, we have a good amount of ace king, but we have like a lot of like ace queen type stuff. Maybe like ace jack of spades. We might have like some pocket pairs or like 7-8 suited or something like that. Yeah, so we have a lot of hands we need to protect by also checking this in.
Nice. All right, you hear that, guys? No leads. Stop it.
Stop it. Don't do that.
Listen to Faraz says, all right, guys, you're in the lead for 145 here. I shit myself.
Uh-oh.
Let's do it.
I'm not going to lead here. We're still pretty capped. We don't, like I said, we don't really have 6s, 7s, 3s in our range. Probably don't have too much 7-6 suited if we didn't check raise the flop. So yeah, just leading, it's just kind of clear we still just have a one pair hand, and it's not great to do that when you're capped. So I'm still checking. Opponent bets 68. We can call or raise to 180.
Check raise or no. We check raising here, boys. What are you doing here, Chris?
All right. Dennis sticking to the story and just calling. Oh, call's starting to stream through.
Nah, I said check call before solo. All right, cool. Solo is just calling. Keep his bluffs in for the moment.
Everyone calling right now.
Once again,
even Machine Gun calling. Drugs
what?
calling. Here we go. Rainus is raising. T-Baby raising. We got a couple raises coming in.
Yeah, I'm starting to see some raise coming in as well. Tino's been raising, stays raising, was born raising. And
we know Arlie's raising. She can't help herself.
Raise for Jabroni as well. Okay. Use it as a bluff catcher, Chris Raven says. Okay.
Mostly call. Stand by the plan, says Goat. Ginger calling.
I could be wrong. Probably calling.
Bruce says calling is probably right, but in real life, he's raising. He don't care.
Which Drug's doing? Six head and shit?
He's calling.
Okay. I like that in real life. I'm raising. Like, it's good to be honest with yourself.
Right.
Like, I'm just raising.
Yeah. I mean, I say that all the time. I'm like, I should probably do this, but let's be real. Like,
let's be real. I'm never folding. Yeah.
or I'll be like, yeah, like 25% of the time I should do this, but come on, I'm doing this 100%.
Yeah. Who's got time to roll for it?
Yeah. I had a friend. He played a hand. He was heads up in a tournament, and he jammed like 20 bigs on the button with ace-6 off, and I was like, I just wouldn't do that. Like, I wouldn't have a shoving range that deep. And we looked it up in a sim, and there's like two hands that do a little bit, like 10% of the time they shove.
He found
ace-6 off.
He found a sliver.
And he goes, yeah, I rolled for it. I was like, you never rolled for it in your life, dude.
I do that to sixes all the time. Look, there's a couple of points in there. We're not
like, look, there's a sliver. There's like 2% of that play in there. Look at that.
Yeah. Couldn't believe he found it. Little lock boxes to find it.
That is funny. Important question, says Rainus. Let me know what the question is. Can I fold this to protect my range? No. No.
Hey, Jeff, thanks for the sub, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, Jeff Jesse, Jim out there, my man.
Jesse getting the toe emote and the sixes emote.
Let's go.
Also, force.
We're calling. Everyone's calling. You calling?
All right.
Sixes. You raise.
Oh, I mostly just call here because sometimes we'll just check raise here. He'll call, and then we'll still have situations on river where it can be kind of sick, right? So yeah, I think we call, and he's gonna bet worse value hands. He's gonna keep in more bluffs. So yeah, I'm just calling a lot.
You make that emote look good, Jesse.
Well, thank you. Where's the 6 emote? I can't find it in here.
Oh, did he get you sub to that stream too, or did I?
No sub.
I trolled you.
Trolled him. All right, let's.
Just my friend. He went cheap on you sixes.
It's all good. I love Jeff anyway. He's all good. Good peeps.
All right, cool. We're calling. Let's do it.
What's up, little Dan?
Yep, I did it.
I'm just calling here.
I might consider
raising. It is a little
by
tempting to raise when opponent bets.
I think versus the smaller size, I'd mostly raise, and versus the bigger size, I'd call. But I'm fine with calling, obviously.
Nice. Mm-hmm. So there is some raise here.
Yeah, but they could still just be doing that with 7s, 6s, 3s, and 7-6. Because maybe they just want to keep in or other hands like 7x, 6x, pocket 8s, 9s, 10s. Anything else we decided to just check call and not check raise. So I'm not super confident that our ace king is good. It's a little telling that we are, but I think people will still be somewhat balanced. So yeah, I'm just calling here in case they are doing this with a big hand to keep in some of our worse hands. River, deuce of hearts, we check again. They bet 123. We can either call
All right, call,
or
check
we can check
raise,
raise
or
Give me a sec to
to
catch up.
move
Give me
all
a sec
in.
to
Oh,
catch
no,
up
I'm
to you.
sorry. No problem.
Cool, we're good. I paused it.
1, 2,
for
3.
Jesse.
Yeah, I did for a second as well.
What's that?
I said I just paused the video for a second because you were giving some good knowledge, so I just wanted to make sure I paused it so they could hear you.
Oh,
So I was a couple seconds behind Sixes. That's all.
Let's go. Call most all in. Call. Ooh. Now, Tino, now you're calling. You've done raised on every fucking street. Now you're calling, huh? That's so funny. Hey, Toe gifting that sub to Mr. Jesse James, my dude.
You can't have the
Thank you,
toe
Toe.
and not the sixes.
It's
You
a
got them
combo
both.
package.
You got them both now, Jesse.
Yes.
Drugs calling right
Let's
away.
go.
Happy, like he didn't check.
Lucky
both
Kevin,
River.
thank you for that
Let's go.
follow, buddy. Smash on my chips right in his face. Flip the table when he flips over King. So Solo Asylum is jamming and getting extremely tilted if he's busted here. Okay, I disagree on just calling. There was with the flush on straight possibilities on last card. Just thought.
Does
Love the
Faraj
thought
show this
process,
time?
though.
Probably not.
Oh, probably not.
He's gonna leave you hanging.
Minimal 2-pair combos. We have the best hand very often. Sheesh. Did Solo is jamming. What is Drugs doing, Tom?
Just calling. Caleb says if he doesn't have a bunch of bets on the turn, are we getting value from worst King X by going all in? Because we have the King of Diamonds here, I think we should just call.
All right, they went.
They went.
GG.
Yeah, Drugs calling.
I'm jamming. Every time. GG. Draws miss. Yeah, we have the King of Diamonds. I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. It feels like we can still get called by worse. The manner in which we've under-repped our hand, it just feels so strong that we can get called by worse. And it feels like we can just, it's just the best hand. Considering maybe he backed into a worse King X, maybe he feels like he can just find some hero calls when the diamond draws miss and we're just check jamming like the ace or king of queen of diamonds or something like that. As a bluff, like ace, queen of diamonds or something like that. I don't know. Well, the diamond draw didn't get there, so that wouldn't make much sense. But yeah, I think I'm always jamming here for value when we under-rep our hands as such. So you jamming just calling? You feel like you can ever get called by worse when you jam?
Me?
I mean, I kind of feel like I kind of feel like we were just
so.
talking about. We're like, if you guys say to call here, I kind of get it, but in real life, I'm always just.
I'm always jamming in real life, always. But
I think I'm always jamming in real
Under-rep.
life on this run out myself. I mean, there's the argument that we're getting 100 bigs, with a one pair hand, which I kind of get, but yeah, I mean, he doesn't hit this too much. We got top. He's betting again on the river. I'm jamming. I'm jamming.
In our defense, this is a 3-bet pot, and it's a really good 1-pair hand.
It is.
it's
fair.
a really good
really,
one.
really
Super fair. Good. That makes me feel better.
You
Jelly says
jamming
ever folding. No, don't get crazy.
It's not
Stop
even
it.
in the options. Yeah, just give them your money.
It's not
Just give
even
it
in
to
the
'em.
options. I didn't even realize it wasn't even an
Yeah.
option.
Jesse, are you ever just calling here? I mean, are we fine just jamming here? What are your thoughts here? Is it too thin with 1 pair in the 3-bet pot? But it feels so under-repped. I just can't help myself.
Yeah, I'm shoving, but I have a few reasons for it. One is, first and foremost, like my immediate thought is like, this guy sized in a way on every street that he was kind of keeping the pot small, and he wasn't sizing it correctly to get a nice symmetrical all in by the river. And I don't tend to believe that that's a really nutted hand when people do that. So that's like, maybe that's a bit exploitable, but I definitely think that that's generally the case. And if you look at, the way that solvers kind of distribute hands, they often do that with hands that want to block bet, not hands that want to get all the chips in for value most of the time. Obviously, like if he had a hand like pocket kings, this would be a really nice size because he's blocking so many of our calls that he wants to like target more of the pocket 10 type of hands. If we check call the flop with those, which may not be true. The other thing is when you have a hand that would have happily put all the chips in if he had gone bigger, and now you're just putting, the amount of chips that he's decided to put in when he goes smaller, you're kind of free rolling yourself in a sense. Like, let's say he does have sixes, right? He'd probably go bigger on the turn and shove river. But then if he has a hand like, pocket jacks, or let's say he has like king 10 of spades, maybe he picks the size. If you let him dictate the price with king 10 of spades and go smaller than all in by the river, and you let him always put it all in with sixes, you're kind of getting free rolled in that situation a little bit. You're just letting him dictate the price too much. So yeah, if it's a hand that I would have like pretty happily went with, and the reason I would have happily went with it by the river is because I'm beating some value, then it's a hand that I'm going to put the rest of the money in if they don't put all the money in. And I think that's kind of an important concept, because you just don't want to let them dictate the price of the pot across all the streets too often.
That's so good. He didn't geometrically set it up to get all the money in, which probably means his value range isn't going to coincide with some of the strongest hands to stack us, which makes this even better. That's a fucking very good point. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not always true, because you can have the sets and shit just want to get called, like you said, by tens and stuff. But man, for the most part, it's pretty good. Yeah.
But like the thing is like, okay, yeah, if you take this line against me with sixes, like you're gonna get all the money, right? But if you take the alternative line where you just bet big on the turn and jam river, you're also gonna get all my money when I have ace king. So I don't really care that much.
Right. that part of the range is going in no matter what. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, good news is Solo Asylum has decided to shove all in. I think a few of us are just calling. Let's see if Faraz is on the all-in train. I'm ready when you are, my friend.
Shit, I think Jug's jammed.
I'm sure he tagged you like we asked him to do, right?
We may have gone. I see him say call, but I think that was for the street before, and we may.
No, he said call on the river. He said call on the river. I remember you saying that. He called.
Call, just call, get fancy. Call, should be.
If you
check. All right, I guess
if you click on his name, it shows.
We'll give him the call.
Chat history.
We'll give him the call.
Right.
We're gonna win this quiz anyway.
Yeah, we got ball in.
He's got tens across the board at this point.
All right, let's do
cool. He did call.
This is an interesting spot on the river. I could really go either way.
Good job.
On the turn, I felt like the small bet could be a trap or just kind of keep in some of our worse hands. Now at this point, it feels like the opponent's just repping a weak king. But, maybe they bluffed with something like king 8 suited, king 9 suited, king X of diamonds. Well, I guess we have king X of diamonds, so that one's not possible. But it just looks like a thin value bet. Like, why wouldn't they just bet bigger when we could have kings here? We could have ace king, we'd have king queen of diamonds, king jack of diamonds. Those are all hands. Even king 10 of diamonds we could have. So why wouldn't they bet bigger? That said, of course, some people could be super sneaky and balanced and trappy here, but I don't think most people are doing that. So I don't blame you for calling, but I'm a little tempted to raise here. So I think that's slightly better play. Unless you think player is just super tricky and sneaky and expects you to take thin shoves like this. So yeah, interesting river spot there. Could go either way.
Ooh, he did have the king 10 and he showed it. Look at that. Faraz actually showing, and we get it all because we decide to jam. One of the hands Jesse said was in his range like a king 10 of spades, king 10 of clubs or something like that. So yeah, boys, that's why we got to jam it all.
I like Jelly's answer best, actually. I missed it at first, but like we had $370 behind. He bet $370 and kept $7 for a beer just in case he lost. So you got to give him a bonus. You got to give a bonus for that. I like that time.
Yeah, for
all of it.
Beer equity, man.
All of it except for the Uber. Cool. Jugs just destroyed this one. All tens and an 8 on the river for the call.
Oh, the 8. He gave it an 8 for a
close.
call. Wow. I'm surprised it was that high. We got
58 points.
52. We got a 52, so it's really
close.
good. We just got the pop. Very good. Good job, Solo Asylum. You lost to a legend, unfortunately.
You did.
Good job, Drugs.
The kid's good. That's what we started.
Yeah.
Drugs, I think you want me to roll it, right? Let me know. In the meantime, we got to pick a new keyword. This one's going to be pretty easy. How is it not floptimal, right? Keyword floptimal. You good?
Yep.
Cool.
We get more toe emoji going. This toe emoji is so good.
It's a popular one.
Floptimal.
We hooked him. You hear that, guys? We hooked him.
He's
Army. We hooked
hooked.
him. You know what's crazy is in Twitch, it's funny. If you have a really good emote, the toe is like one thing if you know me.
Whoops.
But like, there's some people that have like rock hands like this and stuff. But if you have a good enough emote, people will sub to you just for your emote. They might not even.
They
watch
use
you.
it to other stuff.
They
Yep.
just get they just want the cool little. It's like buying the hell those stupid Bitcoin things, NFTs.
Yeah.
It's like buying that shit.
Except it doesn't cost 17 million.
Exactly. Right.
So-
Right. You see Jonathan out there spending crazy money on these
he's-
NFTs. It's going ham.
I mean,
Smart
I have a
man.
buddy who bought a pudgy penguin 2 weeks ago, and it's up like 20x.
Yeah.
How much did he buy it for? Do you mind?
I don't know. I know a couple.
I was
weeks
looking
ago,
at
there
Was it
That's
some-
absurd money?
Oh, we were just talking about that, like $1,200 or something like that, like, or even less, like half an ETH.
Yeah, they were. I think a few weeks ago, they were selling at 0.1 ETH, and now they're at 2.7 is the
How
floor.
much is 0.1 ETH worth? I'm not the crypto guy.
300, 320,
All right.
and now they're at like almost
$2,000?
3 Ethereum.
Oh, they're
so-
like, no, some of them are like 3 ETH. I was looking like last
Yeah.
night. It was like,
Nice.
so it's like 10K.
yeah.
Well, all right. All right. So
Pudgy
Drugs gonna
penguins.
let.
I don't know how I didn't invest in pudgy penguins. I friggin' love penguins.
Me
It's
too.
such
I
an
should
easy.
have.
It was made
It might
for
not
you.
be too late. It might not be too late.
Might
Drugs
not
gonna
be.
take that
I'm
$5.
I'm gonna hope that it's too late because
I know,
I
because
missed
I'm going
the
to keep
train.
getting FOMO, right? That's where I'm at.
I just want to speculate on really cheap NFTs, if anything, and just hope that a couple of them moon.
Pop.
Like I don't want to speculate on the. If you want to speculate on the really expensive ones, you should just go with like punks. But you can't speculate on those now because they're like 2 million each.
Jesus Christ. Oh, see, Arlena's got all the deadhead emotes, and she says a bunch
Hey,
of
what up,
deadheads.
T-Dubs?
Suck to
Benny,
her
what's
for that.
up?
Those are good emotes.
Pipes, what's up, boys? Drida.
Arlenia, if you want me to help you get clear backgrounds for them, let me know. I can help you in like 10 seconds and clean them up for you. Cool. So
Oh, shit, we got to pick
one
one.
thing next quiz, 2 things we got to draw a winner, and 3 things Drugs is going to take us $5 and let it roll. So the next winner on my stream will get 10.
See you next month. No more winners on the toe stream. No mas. Let's do 1357. I think that'll be a good one.
1357 with Mr. Affleck.
Yes,
He's-
sir.
he's
Mr.
super-
fucking Affleck.
He's feeling super rich right now. Guy just took 5th in Florida for $250K. Congratulations, Coach
Yes.
Matt.
Let's go, Matt. I love me some Matt, dude.
Ah, he's
Yeah,
such a
he's
good
awesome, man.
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, he's out of town right now. He usually hangs out on Saturdays. We watch the fights together.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
he's-
man, that's a brag right there.
Yeah,
You're
we
more
went
welcome
hiking
to
with him
come
the
by.
day before. Yeah, and next time we're in town,
Might
we're
have
going
to.
hiking.
I'm in
We-
Henderson.
Really?
We went up to Mount, what was it, Mount Cathedral?
Oh
Is
no,
that-
we were
is
at
that it?
Mount Charleston.
Mount Charleston.
So let me
Yeah,
warn
we
you,
went up.
Jesse. Like you look like you're in better shape than me, but this shit is 4,000 feet elevation and at incline.
8,000.
Fine.
8,000.
I made it like 200 feet and then thought I was gonna die on a log in the woods, and they made it to the top and I didn't. But you're probably in better shape than me.
I don't know, man. I think my image looks like I might be in good shape, but I'm actually in
It's a
horrendous
bluff.
shape.
Poker shape. Poker shape.
That's me. I
Yeah.
sit in this damn chair. Like
The poker
I used to
shape.
be an athlete. Now I just do, beer lifts and click mouse buttons all the time. All right, let's draw a winner.
Let's do it.
Izzy representing the Army. Good luck, Izzy.
Yo, Fire Danks, my dude. Follower since 2018. Fam, I see you. Good luck, fam.
Jamblan says Matt speaks above my head.
What up, Justice
sometimes.
Rolls? Big Sack Lunch.
He speaks above my head too. The best thing to do is just keep hanging out with the dude, and eventually it becomes English. And that's how I got my whole poker career. Is just hang out with people smarter than me. Eventually, that shit just rubs off.
It's the way to go.
Yeah. Cool. Let's go, Izzy. He's ready to rock. You ready to go?
Yes, sir. 1357. I am ready when you are.
All right, let's play it.
Let's do it.
Is that good? Yeah.
All right, in today's hand, we have King 8 of
Ooh,
Spades.
my
This
hand.
is from an online tournament that I played on a recent Sunday. Raising up the king eight of spades in the hijack. Nothing really to speak about there. Very standard open. And the big blind calls. The flop comes 7-6 deuce with 2 spades. Should we check? Bet 225, bet 400, bet 600, or bet 900?
It's favorable. Definitely a favorable flop.
Don't mess this up.
Don't fuck this up.
Don't fuck this up.
Don't fuck the nuts up, guys. What are we doing?
Snapful villain has ace of spades.
Balancing his folding.
Trolling.
Marlon going 225, C betting position. Lots of 225s.
225. Drider is 225. Tino's checking. Davini. Hey, tag team. What up, Mark?
225.
For the 3 years. Thank you for the 3 years, my dude. Big time. That's a long.
He's got to be like your first 10 subs or something. No. Oh.
Nah, something. I've been going for almost 4 years. Remember?
Oh. He skimped you.
4 years. I know. He was too good at the beginning. Then he found his way. No, I'm kidding.
3 years. That's
Thanks,
36
Mark. I appreciate
months,
you, buddy.
36, long time.
We got to get up to Cleveland, man. We got to go up to the Jackson.
It's crazy when I see people like Vice Chick and Jeff and my shame. Like they're at 50. Can you believe that? Jesus Christ. 225s for everybody on my flop.
225s, pretty much around the board here as well. Fire Danks, what were you doing, my dude? Come on, bud. 225, he got it.
Oh, wait. Do I see Izzy? I see Izzy. He's good. 225.
Yep. Cool. Jesse, you ever check this? Or use the small size? You ever upsizing in a spot like this? What are your thoughts?
I don't think I'm checking ever. I could see like checking some ace high flushes makes a lot of sense, but when we unblock the ace of spades, it seems like it's a nice bet. I think I feel like there's merit for 225 through 6. Like basically all the bet sizes seem like they have merit. Generally on the monotone boards, something like a small bet size high frequency is pretty good, or something where you do some checking and you have a big bet. I think you brought it up. Somebody said low card board, we want to bet bigger. I think that has
Caleb
some merit.
Yep.
Who was that?
Caleb said that. Yeah, low card board, we size up.
Yeah, I thought that was like a pretty good comment. Like I don't know, I tend to size up on these types of boards in general. The monotone boards are a little different, but I could even see like half pot being a thing, just because there are a lot of like kind of weaker one spade hands, and there's like a lot of gut shots. I think on this exact board, a lot of the one spade hands that are weaker, you could put in a tough spot, also have a gut shot with them. So like a hand with like the 8 or 9 of spades often has like, 9-8 or something like that. I mean, I guess it like you got some 9-10, Jack 9, Queen 9. But once you get into like king highs with like a 9 of spades, they're not really folding.
Right.
And like ace highs, obviously not folding with the 9 of spades. So yeah, something like 600 might put some of those middling spade hands, some like bear deuces and bear sixes, and then just like the straight draws that don't have a spade draw with them. Like I feel like the bigger size puts a lot of those in jail, but you don't just get to, you don't get to bet 600 on this flop all with your whole range. I don't think very effectively when you go 600. So I'm kind of torn on this board. I think it's a tricky board for sure.
I like
personally.
Okay. I was gonna say one thing funny, like, and I say this a good. I say this a lot, is that one of the good things about solvers is that as a coach, you can always just say mixed frequencies. Like, yeah, we just do all the bet sizes. At some point, you're never wrong. I guess it's the same thing as finding the slivers.
I literally just, whenever I do something stupid at the table, I'm like, oh, it's a mix.
It's a mix. I'm just mixing here. Let's go, man.
It's always like 5%.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I would just go very small here to just have him continue with some hands that are completely stone dead. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't want him to ever fold out like a deuce with or 6 with no spade or something like that. And I think 225 even keeps in some hands that are stone dead. Where we go bigger, maybe some hands become indifferent a little bit too much. So with this particular combo, I would just go, what's the smallest thing? 225.
Yeah, that's a really good point. If you're splitting, like that seems like this is a great hand for it.
Yeah, just a small bet with this and then some other stuff I would probably split. Maybe go larger. But yeah.
Yeah, I love that plan.
Let's see. We were doing that as well. Solo, not solo. Fire Dinks was going 225.
We're going
Let's see what
225
our
too.
buddy Matt is thinking here. You ready, Tom?
Yes. Oh, one thing too, Jeff. Sorry, I missed the shout out. He actually got 50 months today.
Woo,
but it came in through the
50
intro.
months.
In through the
Big
intro
boy.
video. 50 fucking months. All right, let's do
That's
it.
a long
225.
Let's do it. Yep.
These monotone flops,
Ooh.
There goes Matt.
or
There goes
flush
Ashley.
available, are always kind of sometimes the trickiest ones to play. It's really important here to think about how ranges interact here. And as the in-position player, we have one really, really big advantage over the big blind, and that's in overpairs. We have every single overpair available to us, versus the big blind maybe only has like 8s and 9s. Maybe 9s get 3-bet pre most of the time. So they're really lacking in the overpairs. And when you look at the range composition here on this flop, we have about 11% of our range is overpairs, whereas the big blind only has an overpair 2% of the time. And the big blind, a lot of people think, oh, this low board is a really good flop for the 7-6 deuce board is a good flop with the big blind. But they have top pair here about 11% of the time. They fold a lot of their offsuit 7x. Some hands like it's just not a huge part of their range because of how wide their range is. So for every time they have a pair of 7s, we have an overpair, which means we do get a bet here a lot, even though it's a monotone board, because we have that big overpair advantage, and there's no like straight available. Yes, there is a flush, but we actually have more flushes here than the big blind because it's low cards. If this was like ace 6 deuce monotone, then we would not have the flush advantage because most of our flushes come from ace high and king high hands. When there's no ace of spades and king of spades on the board, we actually have a lot of flushes as the in position player because we're opening like king 5 suited and better here in the hijack. So we get a bet here a lot, and I think the best sizes are either really small, so 225, or most of the time you don't go large. But on this board, we actually can go large and bet 600. And the reason is because we have all the overpairs and because we have so many flushes here. So this low flush board is actually a board we get a bet large on if you were to look at an equilibrium strategy from a solver. Whereas most monotone boards, we just bet small. So actually here, the solver actually likes betting 600 here. It also likes betting small, betting 225. They're fairly equal in the options, but just really nothing. There's no real reason to go in the middle. We should be betting big or betting small here. I went for the small bet here, and we get check raise from the small blind or from the big blind. Should we fold, call, raise to 1800 or raise to 2500?
All righty. What are we doing here, guys? Call, repopping his ass. I mean, folds there, but come on now. Never folding. 1825 are called. Basically, I mean, I'm kind of surprised that the solver even makes his big bet here, but it makes a lot of sense, right? A lot of these 3 low card boards where we're betting, we do have some big bets, so it mixes this as well.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like he broke that down really well as to why too. So I don't know. It's nice to hear his thought process behind that.
Right.
He clearly like did his homework and ran it and kind of got some ideas from that, which is nice to hear.
Yeah, I tend to autopilot and go small too much, but having a case for a big bet because on like 9-5-2 or 7-6-2 rainbow or something like that, with a lot of our hands, I would have a big bet. So it makes sense to even on monotone have a big bet here.
I think if you autopilot and go small too much, you're not going to really make any big mistakes.
Okay.
Like if you do like if you take some boards where you do some big betting and you node lock it to just c-bet like really high frequency at a smaller size, you'll lose like a little bit of equity for your strategy, but it just won't be that much. So I wouldn't feel too bad about that or anything.
Right.
Obviously you can always like sharpen it up a little bit, but as far as mistakes go, that's a pretty good mistake to make.
Nice.
Compared to most of them.
Call. 0 raises.
Fucking muted. I was saying going big incorrectly will cost you more in the long run than going small always.
Yeah.
Or people who
Yeah.
find checkbacks in some of these spots. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, lose value that way too.
That's a hurtful one for some
Yeah, I was
people
going to say
work with.
something about Matt too. Like, I can't say enough good things. One thing that really impresses me about him is he's always his
God,
work
he
ethic.
works so hard.
His work ethic is amazing. I like to do solver work. I have the solver. I just can't forgot to use it. It takes a while. It really does.
Been messing with it
I
for
mean, it took
years.
me 6 months before I was like kind of comfortable with it, and then now I'm super comfortable with it. But yeah, it takes a while to figure out how to run it, to know that your solves are good, and then to read the output and know the why. It takes a while. It does.
Yeah, it's your own interpretation of the why often. So
I mean, that's a good reason why I have a great study group with sixes and the other guys is because when I can't figure out the why, we put enough heads in there, you'll figure it out.
yeah.
Let's see. We're calling. I mean, I'm only calling here. I just want to keep in. If he has a flop to flush, he's going to put in the money. And I don't want to start making anything. Does he have a check raise bluff here? Maybe he check raises like 8-9 or something like that. With the 9 of spades. We block kind of 8-9, but 10-8 or 10-9 or something like that with the 9 of spades. If he's using something like that, a combo draw. And even if he flops, he's going to continue to put in money. Maybe he becomes indifferent when a 4th spade comes, if that happens. But I'm usually just calling here to keep my range a little weaker and wider and allow him to keep bluffing if he does have like some weak or even a worse value hand. So yeah, I'm only calling.
Yeah, you have a lot of stuff drawing dead, huh?
Yeah. You ever considering raising here because when he raises on this board, it's pretty strong and we could pretty much get the money in versus this check raise range?
No, I think this is a board we just want to pretty much flat everything. If
Yeah.
we were like super deep, like at least 3 times as deep, maybe more.
Sure.
We could actually start 3-betting maybe like some bear ace of spades hands and running these bluffs where we get some pretty strong hands to fold by the river. But realistically, like his check raising range isn't going to contain very many hands that aren't like 2 pair plus. Mm-hmm. So you're just like, you're not going to be very efficient in getting any of those hands to fold by the river, right? You'd be like super deep for that to work out. And then you would mix in maybe some king high flushes and queen high flushes and stuff like that and ace high flushes. But yeah, it's just not a thing. So I don't really see any purpose to like putting 3 bets in on the flop.
The other reason too, like, is there a bluff here? Like that we would now see and then 4-bet, right? Or 3-bet.
And if it's like, even if we have the ace spade, we put in 25, the 5 behind and what's in the pot, we probably can never fold.
Yeah, like you only do this with a flush.
Like, yeah, we're almost going to be pot committed once we put in a 25. I mean, 18-36 plus the 7-4. I mean, yeah, it's going to be like 2-1 or something. So I don't even know if we have a bluff when we're this shallow that we wouldn't call off with. Maybe, but I don't know. I'm always just calling here.
Cool. Izzy's raising. He's throwing the hammer.
Rut-row. Fire Days calling. Hold, be good. Let's do it.
I'll be back in like 25 seconds.
No worries.
You're good, bud.
First question we should be asking here is
7. It's not the worst thing in the world.
That 3-bet.
What size?
18.
And we really don't
Smaller
have
one,
that
yeah.
aggressive of a 3-betting range here. There's not a lot of hands we want to get in here, get the money in with here. The hands that actually do get 3-bet the most when we do 3-bet here are like pocket 7s, pocket 6s, and pocket deuces. And the reason is if our opponent does have a flush, we still have outs against them, and those hands need protection. Especially like 6s and deuces are very, very good ones to get it in. 7s too, because a big part of the check raise range is going to come from pocket 6s and deuces. So we want to get the money in when we can set someone. So, but in general, we're very rarely ever going to raise this flop. Maybe some naked ace of spades or king of spades hands, and then some sets, maybe a couple of flushes. But in general, we're mostly just going to call here and never raise. And when we do raise here, we're just going to use this small size. There's not a lot of point in going much bigger, so we'll just make it 1800 here and fold out some of the no equity bluffs that the player is check raising with.
Ashley gonna do that?
We do call.
Oh.
The turn is the 6 of diamonds and our opponent's checks. Should we check, bet 750, bet 1200, bet 1600, and bet 2300?
It actually does get a little awkward with the board pairing.
2,300 out there, 6K in his stack. You know what I'm doing.
I know what I'm doing.
Uh-oh.
What are you guys doing? It's stunned silence in my chat. They're like, "Oh shit, the board paired." We're shook.
I have a weird SBR. 23 for Chris. Raven GSD, what's up, buddy? Congrats on the TLC win, my dude. Good
Too
to see you,
many
man.
options.
I know this is cool. 1,600 leaves less than PSD on safe rivers. A PSR, I feel you. 1,200, 1,600, 2,300, 12 for Devini.
1,600 for Ranius. Jamland, bunch of 16s. A few 12s. Actually, I got like every bet size here a little bit.
Yeah.
All the
So do I.
choices. They were shook. They were trying to figure out all these choices. 16 overtaking it. True Good says, "Oh shit, think he's checking."
Oh, it's interesting as shit. A lot of 12s.
I got a lot of 16s.
Yeah, and Fire Danks went 12. And what did your guy go?
Izzy went 16.
So you said you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm betting small for sure. God, I'd be probably actually somewhere between 750 and 1,200, somewhere in the 900 range myself if I was playing this maybe. So I think I'm probably going to lean 750 myself, I think, given the choices. Maybe 1,200. Maybe 1,200. Maybe 1,200. Small for sure.
It's so interesting, right? Like if we bet 1,200, it leaves 5,500 in the big blind stack in the back seat, and the SPR is just going to be greater than 1. It's going to like 4,700 in the pot, 5,500 in his stack.
Yeah, it sounds clean.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those spots. If he has a boat, we're fucking damned no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter. It's not like I'm not getting my money in. If he flopped the flush or has the boat, he has my stack. So what's the most efficient way? Like, it's just a tragedy not to get all of his chips if he just check raised with a bear 6 and has chip 6s that didn't follow through, or a worse flush or something like that. So I'd probably go 16. I do know a lot of times with our range, we probably want to have a smaller bet here. But I know sometimes when he goes 3-bet, C-bet, 3-bet.
Check raise, C-bet.
Check raise, I'm sorry. Check raise, check. In the backseat, we do have more larger sizings, like 60% more so than checking or small. So that's where I'm probably going 16.
I like setting up stack to pot ratio in game. I'm like,
it's like
I'll go
55,
small,
and then there's 46 in the pot.
Fucking overbid river.
And then just do it. Yeah. Like, but do you think there's like his range is inelastic between 12 and 16? Like, is there?
I just have a habit of going on those flushy boards where now he check raise checked, where he is more. Yeah, I think he's more capped. I think he's polarized. Like he's got
so do you think
a lot of shit and then some boats, and I want to keep his shit in. I'm not really scared about.
What hands continue to 12 to 4, like 400 chips? I don't know. Maybe between 1,600 and 750. 750 you probably keep in more, but I don't know.
If you go big, do you price out a 7?
No, it's between 16 and 12. I think it's continuing inelastically.
Okay.
Like a lot of these kind of hands that have either a lot of value, or if he has it, he's just not folding between the two sizes. So I'm just going bet. But
yeah.
What do you think here, Jesse?
We have controversy.
Yeah,
man, this is tricky.
It really is.
Like 16 is really nice because it sets up a nice sized river gem, but it's very hard for us to have a bluff here. Mm-hmm. So we've got like, we occasionally have like some king queen with the king of spades type hands. Those might like bluffing. I don't know how much of our ace high with the ace of spade hands like bluffing here. Yeah. They're usually like, ace 9 or ace 8 offsuit plus. So they have a lot of showdown value. We have a little bit of like 8-9 suited that maybe bet calls flop, but it's only a few combos of that. And we might not even call the check raise unless we have a flush. So it's really hard to have a bluff. I was thinking that the small size makes the most sense to me, but I really would love to find an excuse to go 1600 because then we can jam river pretty happy.
So like
Yeah,
this is the spot.
I'm jamming it so happy. That's
Like
why
it's probably
like,
small, but
inclusive.
100% of the time I'm setting it up to jam.
It's so weird because I think we don't get to use like the 1600 with like much any of our range, but the strong shit that's ready to go broke, and we in like the rest of our hands that like have equity. I would just check like the fucking ace of spades, and like if I did call here with king queen, I'd probably check that on the turn so I can realize the equity to the river. So it's real interesting. Like I don't think my range is probably balanced if I'm going 16 here. Yeah, like now that I say that, maybe I would use it if I did show up here with like pocket nines, no spade, because I didn't some of those kind of combos. I might bet 16 and check river, or bet 16 and fold to a check raise or something like that sometimes. But even that seems like some of the pairs you show up with and hands you show up with just need protection. I think maybe those hands would fit in this category. I'm going 16 as well. Nines, tens. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, they might. I'm trying to think of what makes his random like ace of spades the most indifferent, or king of spades, when you have like
nine,
your range.
Jacks. Yeah.
I feel like 750 isn't the worst size because, like, let's say it's the ace of spades. So we have a few bluffs. We have some hands like pocket tens or whatever, and then we have stuff like we have boats, we have flushes. He's not going to get paid very much money on the river when he gets there with the bare ace of spade type hand. And he's drawing dead sometimes. So him getting 3-1 on the turn isn't particularly good if he thinks that, his draw is not always good. He's not getting direct odds to draw it, and he's probably not getting paid that well. So I do feel like the small size puts him in the toughest spot, or makes him the most indifferent with like an ace of spades type of hand. He does beat a few bluffs, so maybe it finds a call, and maybe I'm underestimating how many bluffs we can find on this board, but it feels like a board that's like tough to find bluffs on, man.
Super.
Unless you start floating the flop with like 9-10 of clubs, 8-10 of clubs, which is,
I mean, yeah, I think you would almost. I wonder if the solver would give up with those combos with the gut shot and those kind of spots. I guess it depends on if he uses a 2.5x check raise. Maybe it continues sometimes with the gut shot and 2 overs in position.
Yeah,
in an uncapped range. It probably would, I would assume, but maybe.
Yeah, somewhere around there, somewhere between like 2 and 2.5x is where.
Yeah, it definitely folds to 4x.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
So I feel like small is probably a high frequency answer, but
team small, you and Toe. I'm on team big and greedy as hell and hope to get it all. Oh, all right. Yeah.
I will say this. I think. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you didn't, buddy. It's good.
It's just I'm looking at the delay, so I think that I don't see your mouth moving, but I'm 5 seconds behind or whatever, or ahead, whatever it is. Anyway, so one thing that's like good to keep in mind here, especially if you play with players who do, when it goes check, raise, check, they do a lot of like in position, third potting, quarter potting. When you have a board like this where a quarter pot or a third pot makes sense with a lot of hands and they do size up, that's a nice spot to like exploitably fold some pretty good hands because they're clearly sizing up. It's almost like a greedy thing. Like you heard me earlier, like I wanted to get greedy and size up just so we could get in by the river. And they're clearly trying to size up so they can get in by the river with a good hand. But it's hard to balance that because it's difficult to find enough bluffs to do it with. When you make it that large, you get to have a good amount of bluffs. So those are the kind of spots where I might find some hero folds because I just think based on their sizing, they're not being balanced.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I know with a lot of other hands in my range, it's probably a check or small, and then you have some of the hands you think might need protection, but it's all kind of relatively strong value. But even like pocket nines, pocket tens for me in a spot kind of feels like not a bluff, but I don't know. Like it doesn't make sense for a 1600 size now that I'm thinking about it either. So yeah, it's interesting. Maybe going small just has enough utility in this spot as well. Let's see. I forgot what. Fire Danks is going 12. Yeah, this would be interesting to see what Matt thinks about this spot because I'm sure his ass ran it and looked at the outputs, and he'll let us know. So I'm ready when you are. So we're going 12.
I'm ready to be wrong here, man.
I hope he goes 1600 so bad.
I think, as he said, he's going 1600. My damn browser refreshed, so I lost the chat. I think he said 16.
Sight gum, yeah. This is we're
just. He said 16, right now, yeah.
We play for money.
I lost the damn chat for a sec.
It's cool.
Oh, I might have it here. Hang on. Yeah, 16. Cool.
All right, 12 here. Let's do it.
750.
This is an interesting turn as it
5-headed you.
Damn.
The first question we want to ask here is like, what sizing does our range want to use here? And my thinking is that we just want to go small here. And the reason is we still don't want to put a lot of money in the pot, because the big blind can still easily have a flush. They can have a full house. They have a lot of hands. They can have a 6. There's still a lot of really strong hands available to the small blind, even though they checked. And therefore, we need to be respectful with our bet sizes. We really don't start betting large until we have like an asymmetric advantage around like the top end, like flushes and full houses, which here I don't really think we do. So we will be betting here maybe like 50% of the time, but when we bet, we're only going to bet small. So I like betting 750 or 1200, half pot or like a third pot. I think those are the two best bet sizes here, and we should really almost never bet bigger. I think our hand is a very, very clear bet and would never check here. Types of hands that we would check back that are maybe unintuitive. When you want to check back a flush here, you want to check back like connected flush cards. So for example, ace king of spades, king queen of spades, queen jack of spades, and also the ones that have straight flush draws, so like 9-8 of spades and 5-4 of spades. The reason you want to check back those hands, like ace king of spades, the best case scenario is you have an ace high flush, the other player has a king high flush. So we'd rather check back ace king of spades because we block them from having a king high flush, versus like if we had ace 3 of spades, we would always bet because they still have a king high flush available to them. Same thing when we have king queen of spades, they can't have a queen high flush. So when you're going to check back a flush, that's a good rule of thumb to think about. Also, you tend to like check back the straight flush ones here. So like 10-9 of spades, 9-8 of spades, and 5-4 of spades. And the reason is if they have a naked king of spades or ace of spades hand, you want that straight flush card to come off so that you can stack them. So you often see those hands check back sometimes. Jeez. And then hands like aces and kings and stuff will check back here. And then we'll bluff with a lot of our single spade hands that check back here. If we have if we have some like king queen offsuit no spade, we'll start bluffing with those hands. So
small.
I go ahead and bet small here, and our opponent just folded. And this is another reason for a bet small. We just want to kind of fold out a lot of the trash that our opponent has, and like it doesn't take a big bet to get them to fold like 10-9 of clubs, for example. We can just bet small here. It gives us a good price with our bluffs, and then we can polarize on the river, and so we can start betting really, really big with our flushes and full houses, and then checking back or betting smaller sizes with other stuff. So
I love how when we watch his videos, he pretty much like says everything that we said.
That was good.
And then when he used the hand example, he actually used 9-10 of clubs, the exact hand example Jesse used. Yeah. So like,
but 9-10 of clubs is drawing.
We're on track.
Dead.
We're good.
Yeah, but we're thinking about we think of these spots as with our overall range, not just with our specific hand grader.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what he's alluding to in this spot, like our range interacts in these spots and what we're going to do with other hands in our range, and why we use this small bet, because we're going to have a lot of other hands in our range.
Yeah, because you're mostly small betting. Yep.
And he wants to, and it's cool. I like the point he made about going small here. Like I'm thinking pure greed, go big on turn, but he goes small here, keep his range wider, still uses a lot of fold equity with his bluffs, and he induces and keeps in worse hands with this bet. So this has a lot of utility. I love this bet. It's
and like sometimes you want to set the stack to pot ratio to 1, but sometimes like fuck it, you just overbetting is cool too, worse. Right? Like you don't always have to set it up.
And then the other times in our range, with hands in our range, we can't go big because he's gonna have a fucking flop flush and a slow play full house, and we're dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, cool. I think that was great.
Keep in mind too that this size might be better when you're playing as a solver, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a solver's a really good player. If you're playing $600 live tournament,
Sure.
the people in those tournaments might be on average check raising a bunch of 6s or a bunch of 7s and then not folding when they check the turn. So it's like your bet size might be better in a lot of scenarios. It's just not going to be better against a really tough player or a solver or whatever.
Right.
But like there's plenty of tournaments where I would for sure size up to 1600 on the turn and feel really, really good about it. Like I wouldn't even think it's close. And there's a lot of player types that I would do it against in any field. You know what I mean?
Makes a lot of sense.
I would find myself on Ignition. I'm going 1600 there. There's so many hands that are just never folding.
Yep.
Or, they're just going to make massive mistakes with and punt. So it'd be hard to, I get called off by a 7 there, Queen 7 or some shit, so.
Yeah, no, Ignition's a great example of a site I would be sizing up.
16, yeah, that's why I naturally say autopilot 16, but against a tough opponent, we got to think in those cases as well and learn how to adapt versus tougher competition so we're not making mistakes. So
yeah, and I'll say this too, like an issue, a leak, whatever you want to call it in my game is that sometimes I don't exploit enough and I stick too much to what the solver says. But if you're right, if you're playing against a range that's different than what the solver is playing against, you know what I mean? Or you haven't node locked, right? Like the public or this particular player is doing something different than what the solver would do, and you're not making max, exploiting that to the max, and you're losing in the long run, right? You're not getting full value.
Yeah, for sure.
So cool. I think we got time for one more.
Uno más. Cat Jam. It's fucking time. Get your cat jams in the chat. Let's go. Cat jam, boys and girls.
We can't have a stream without a
we
cat
can't
jam.
have a study stream with 0 cat jams. I know it and you know it. Come on.
Toe did say he was a robot the other day. I wasn't kidding. I really am.
I'm more like a lunatic.
I'm a robot.
Yeah, I'm a psychopath sometimes.
Cat Jam's coming in. I wish I could get the emotes to work for you guys.
So are you doing?
I really don't know why.
So are you doing that study session right after this? Immediately after?
Yeah, take 5 to use the bathroom and then doing that. And then
cool. This is
spend the rest of
my
the day
schedule.
with the family.
Yep.
While he's doing that, we'll pick a quiz.
I mean,
we got the main with Jonathan again. We're still in the main with Jonathan. We're still at Falls View with Evan.
Well, I learned so much from these Affleck quizzes, man. I would love to do 1350, especially since we have Jesse here and we get to dive a little bit deeper in some of these situations where I know Matt is running every spot and he's approaching it from a strong theoretical perspective. So I really enjoy the Matt.
You don't gotta convince me to hang out with Uncle
Yeah, Matt and Peraza all day, every day, if possible. No hate to anybody else, but I really love their style. All right, cool. Cat jams. All right, I'm ready when you are, my friend.
We could draw it.
Cool.
Oh, who won the last quiz? We didn't even get to that. We're having so much fun.
Oh my God, who won?
We got a medium score. I'm looking back right now. Hang on.
Oh no, we got a 27.
I think you beat us. We got.
Wait a minute, no. I'm looking at the wrong one. What number did we just?
We got a 20.
1357.
Yeah.
With this, we got 27. We did it, baby.
Cool.
Fire Dinks, hit me up, my dude. Congratulations. I'm sorry, we got distracted.
We were just talking poker and having a good time. We fucking forgot about you guys for a second. I apologize.
What up, Sheriff Frost? Good to see you, buddy. I'm rolling.
Me too.
The Vinny, my dude.
And Smooth JJ. Let's go.
Smooth JJ.
Meatball, we bet super small, 750, and they folded.
Yep. And the last one of the day. Also, guys, make sure to connect with our special guest. I got his Twitter here. Make sure to give him a follow, man. He's putting out content. The site's growing. He's going to be streaming every single day, 365 days in a row. Streaming coming up here. Jesse, Sylvia, you ready, buddy?
Committed you.
Oh, that is...
just walked you right into it.
That is strong. I like it. Every single day where I'm not taking a day off, I'll be streaming.
Hey, you heard it here first.
There you go. Also, guys, if you've been enjoying this stream, you want to see this one from the beginning, or you want to see any of the ones we've done with other guests in the past. Lately, we've had a lot. We had Lappy, who won a bracelet and a ring. in the last couple of weeks. He won both those in the last couple of weeks. We had Faraz on, so we've had Jesse on if you want to catch the first stream with Jesse. We've had Affleck on. We've had a bunch of these guys on. So if you want to check those out, ! YouTube in the chat, and you can go back and check that out. Also, I did the guest command, so you can check out Jesse's site, Floptimal, and that link will be in the YouTube channel, of course, too. So make sure you check out his stuff. Cool. Oh, yeah. Smooth JJ, you ready to rock? Let's do this. I'm ready to go.
1 second. I'm gonna throw his link in the chat for the site. Cool, I got that in there, and we are doing Mr. Affleck, and that is number 1350. I am ready when you are. Let's do it.
All right, in this hand we have the King of Hearts and 5 of Clubs in the big blind. The hijack's open for a minimum raise. Should we fold, call, or re-raise to 90,000?
All right, King 5 off on the first in the late position. Min raise. Who is folding besides Jelly? Don't lie.
What are we doing here?
You're folding.
We're deepest big. We probably got, what is this? We have like 80 bigs and they have like 80. We have like 85, 86 bigs and they have 30. So we're 30 effective with King 5 versus a hijack open.
Jamblin Smooth JJ is the pick, and he is calling right now.
30 bigs versus a hijack open.
Unforeseen.
Anybody getting nasty?
Unforeseen getting nasty.
Call for Stinky. Call. Call for the Carter.
Of course, the study. Don't be fooled there, Zupair. Sometimes they call and fold is the right answer, so you could get leveled. It's happened before.
True. They do that.
May not be the spot. Kept folds is, but I'm pretty sure we defend all our King X's. He call for Cress. Drixon, I don't know if I thanked you for the follow up. I didn't. I apologize. Thank you, buddy. Welcome. Call.
All right. Yeah, we're Divinity's calling.
Beat says call per my new friend Floptimal. There you go. Put that money to work.
There you go.
Put it to work, baby.
Chip Critic folding too. This is garbage. Ruh-roh.
Whoa.
Ruh-roh.
All right.
Yeah, call.
He's calling. Yeah, Divinity's calling. I mean, I'm never folding B-pipping. I'm wondering if we
Thanks,
ever
Jeff.
use this as a 3-bet bluff some of these offsuit King X to this open at 30. I'm not too certain. I know we may have some 3-bet folds, but maybe a lot of our 3-bet range would just jam. I don't know if we're using like King 8 offsuit or any of those kind of hands as 3-bet folds.
I don't think we are. I think the 3-bet folds are going to be like 8-9 suited and Jack 9.
No, well, we want to know. I think at this stack that 8-9's been definitely never 3-betting ace-9, 8-9 suited at 30 bigs.
Oh, 30.
Where it's going to be more like the offsuit King X and maybe Queen 7 and shit like that.
We're also in the big line. Oh, yeah. We don't have 3 bets in the big line.
But I'm just wondering if it would use something like this, not just trying to autopilot lazy call, but I would never fold, so I'm at least calling.
I would autopilot lazy call. Big blind.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if we can use some of this like some of the offsuit King. This ain't going to play well. It blocks some of this shit. Like, I don't know. What do you think here, Jesse?
Tuck this guy off the ledge, Jesse.
I have an app for this.
And
I can tell you,
hang on.
There are certainly there are almost always, as you get shorter out of the big line, there are almost always some offsuited kings in your 3-betting range from the big. You get kind of polar and use a little bit offsuited king, offsuited ace, offsuited queen.
Hey baby.
If you check this out in Floptimal in our ranges, it looks like it really likes using. I thought it was going to use more like King 8 off, King 9 offs. Uses King 9 off, but it actually uses a little bit of King 6 and Queen 6. I've noticed that solvers really like the 6s a lot if they're picking a kicker in these 3-bet spots, these like really polar 3-bet spots. I think it's because your opponent's calling range, so your 3-bet contains an ace a lot, and not that it happens very often, but when you run out a wheel, you have the top end of the wheel and they have the bottom end, and that adds a little bit of extra equity to the hand based on that kicker. So yeah, King 6 is getting 3-bet here, King 5 not really. Although I wouldn't have been surprised if King 5 was doing a little bit of 3-betting here as well. But I mean, I would never fold this hand. I would always call.
Yeah, same here.
It's funny, and all this time of running sims, like you see that King 6 suited is like always a fucking call, and King 7 and King 8 are always a fold. And
Yep.
it was probably a year or two before I realized it was because it was the wheel destroyer. And
Yep.
that's why you call it the King 6, like forever. I was like, why? I knew to just never fold it, but I didn't know why. So it's funny you bring that up.
Once a year, you're gonna run out that wheel and you're gonna stack them,
And you're gonna stack them.
and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's why.
There you go. I made up for all the other times.
Yeah.
This is at +3. I don't know. Sid uses a little bit of this stuff occasionally.
Yep.
Mixed frequency.
Mixed frequency.
Cool. I wonder what Mad Dad's here, but we're just calling because that is what the Benny's doing, and probably gonna be your safest play here a lot, guys.
The wheel blocker, yeah. When we have King 6, if it runs out Ace 2 3 4 5, we crack that hand.
Yep.
Or 2 3 4 5. Right. Cool. Colin, let's go.
Yep.
If you want to mix in too many 3-bets, I think you might get away with it versus regs a bit, possibly. Especially if they have stats on you and you don't 3-bet that much out of the big blind initially. So if you want to mix this in occasionally, it seems fine. But
Jesse approved.
I like calling.
I think we have a pretty
Agreed.
easy defend here with a min raise. I think 3-betting this hand is okay. A small percentage of the time, as long as you don't get carried away with it. But 3-betting here would be fine as well. But mostly just going to call. Ace 4 deuce flop. We're never going to have a leading range here. We check. And we face a 1/3 size bet. Should we fold, call, raise to 50,000, raise to 70,000, or raise to 85,000?
This also becomes different too. Like, do you flat this raise if we're 100 bigs deep effective? Because then you have more reverse implied odds, right? Versus this where on 30 bigs, if we hit a king and we end up putting 30 bigs in, it's not the end of the world.
Late position, I don't see how the hell we fold. I mean, maybe from EP, in my opinion. Maybe from a tough player in late position to a min raise. I don't see us folding king, but it's personally.
Yeah, I think you're pretty indifferent with these lower King X offsuits. When you get deep, like 100 bigs deep, it looks like I'm seeing a lot of folds from like King 5 through King Deuce. Actually, I'm seeing just pure folds, 75 deep. So I'm guessing as we get deeper, we get even more folds.
From what position? I'm
actually looking on Floptimal right now, and it's I got the folds from the weaker ones.
Yeah, I don't know if you can like
position,
put it on screen, but I'll show you. You can actually just like hover over the different stack sizes.
Let's do it.
With the hijack raising from the big blind, and you'll just quickly see like how it changes based on the
you can just log onto the site and it's just right there. Shame.
Yeah, I think I got the setup right, so you can see at
Look,
75.
You just go to the site. I didn't log in. I didn't put zero information. This is kind of nasty, guys. If you're looking for something else to play around with, I literally just went to the fucking site and went to this page and didn't have to put any information on.
Yeah, for
and
free.
It's right here for you for free.
You get 15 blind charts, right, Jesse?
You'll get all the 15 big blind stuff. You'll also just get all the opening ranges for everything else. And then if you want reactions, like if you want to see like how big blind defends versus hijack after 15 bigs, you're gonna have to get the premium.
Yes, but you get all the RFI charts, so those are great for you guys.
Yeah, which are really nice. I mean, getting the like GTO RFI charts is pretty sweet. We kind of wanted to make those free so that we're like the place to go to if you ever have like an argument with someone and like I wouldn't open this hand. You can just like Google it real quick.
It's also like being a crack dealer, right? You give them a little taste of the RFI chart and suck them in to come back.
That was guy in the ICM pre-flop ranges. Somebody says, right?
Yeah.
Y'all got them ICM ranges.
Nice. So anyways, I was saying, see at 75, we start to fold them, and then as we go shallower, we call more and more of the offsuit kings.
I messed up.
Offsuit queens too. See, they popped up here at 30.
I misclicked. Hold on, I misclicked the damn quiz. Because I was going through the chart.
No worries.
Yeah, the shallower you are, the easier it is to realize your equity, right? Because
and you have less reverse implied odds, right?
Yep. And just also, it's a lot easier when you're 10 blinds deep to just flop a pair and get it in. When you're 50 blinds deep, you can't just do that with bottom pair. It's too many chips. So
questions for you.
Yeah.
They're asking if Floptimal does post flop as well. You don't have the
we don't currently do post flop. We're working on some stuff that'll be a little ways out.
And what about
But
multi-way?
we're kind of prioritizing pre-flop cash game stuff and then ICM sims a little bit more.
Oh,
ACM.
well, I'd be so interested in those.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are going to be really sweet once they're out there.
Finding
I don't think we'll be too far off with those too.
Finding a good reliable source for ICM adjusted ranges is kind of a hard thing to find online.
Yeah. And the way that people organize, I've seen it organized reasonably well, but trying to organize that kind of data into a way that you can easily bring up, like this person has this stack, this person has this stack.
Yeah, some digestible.
Yeah.
It's not easy. So yeah, it's a bit of work to figure that out and for us to make it, very easy to digest and to look through, but we'll find the best way, hopefully.
It's coming, guys. Sign up. Cool.
And then there's multi-way in there, but not post-flop multi-way.
Oh, there you go. So that's good too.
That's really good too. That's really valuable for shorter pre-flop multi-way stuff. My goodness, it gets complex.
It does. Cool. What are we doing here? We hit a gutter ball, checked, and we're facing a tiny ass bet.
The card is going 50K check raising.
See here.
I feel like we don't really get to check raise without a backdoor flush draw. I could be wrong about that.
I think you're right.
4-5, 2-5, those kind of hands, maybe a little bit more.
What's
and
that?
a backdoor flush draw. I was just thinking out loud, like maybe like a hand like 4-5 of spades, 2-3 of clubs, and a straight draw, a backdoor flush draw, and a straight draw. I'm just wondering.
Or even like just like Jack 5 of clubs, like that doesn't have any showdown value. But I mean, 2-3 is like probably a great check raise, but it might also just be so good you can check call it or whatever a lot. I bet it does a little bit of both.
It's just a board where we're going to be lacking. So we're going to probably check raise. Obviously, our sets, 2 pairs, so it's got to use like 4 or 5. I wonder if it uses something with a 6 in it. We were just looking at a sim like this not too long ago, and it seems like it uses like the bottom pair and a middle pair with like a 5 and a backdoor flush draw for sure a lot. But some of those are so good they can just call as well.
I also think it does it a bit less on ace-high boards, right? Where you don't check raise as much as like, because usually it's like over and gut shot or over and back.
But we need hands, but we still got to have some hands with check raise. I would imagine we probably still check raise 10% here, 10 to 12%, maybe. I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I think you have a lot of like non-pair backdoor flush draw 3s and 5s to check raise, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Like I'd rather check raise like king 3 of spades and check call this hand or something like that.
Definitely.
Yep.
Could be wrong.
Definitely.
And we'll probably get a reasonable amount of turns we can lead on, so I don't mind just check calling this as well.
Smooth JJ's calling, and we had a couple of folds out there. Deuterino folding.
What?
Don't make me
Deuterino? Our Deuterino?
I've been calling him. I've been calling him a nit all week. I've been calling him a nit.
Yeah, come on, bruh.
You were
never.
You were sticking up for him, sixes.
I was trying not to. I was trying, bruh. You ain't never.
We just can't call a gut shot for third pot. You're just getting priced.
I mean, you can't fold it. It was what you meant to say. You said can't call.
Oh yeah, I meant can't fold. Sorry.
Yep.
And
right, cool.
Plus, like we got king high too.
You might have the best hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, beating Jack 10.
You could have Queen Jack. Yeah. Exactly.
For sure.
All right. I forgot what Davini was calling.
So smooth.
I fold even though I'm maybe supposed to float. Oh, you folded? You're dead to me. He's folding. He's done. Give him a 0.
Get
him out. Get him a body bag. Folding.
All right, let's go. This is where we get him, guys. This is where we get him.
Yeah, you get him a body bag. Never, ever folding.
I think there are a couple options here on the flop. I think calling is a very good option here. I also think check raising to 50,000 here is a very good option. Check raising here just mainly to fold out hands that dominate us. They're going to have a lot of like 10-9s, queen jacks, king 10s, king jacks. We can fold, force this player to like defend a wide portion of their range. You can raise a little bit larger to 70,000 as well. You can even raise to 85, but I like to make a smaller raise. Because when we raise small, we force them to defend with like Jack 10 of spades, Jack 9 of spades, any hand with a backdoor flush draw. And a lot of people are going to overfold here on the flop once we do check raise. So I kind of prefer raising to calling, but both are fine. We just shouldn't be folding here though with a gut shot.
Hey.
I do make a check raise. This player calls. The deuce of diamond comes on the turn. Should we check? Bet 55,000, bet 95,000, bet 150,000, or go all in?
What are we doing here? Calls the check raise on this board. Yeah, it's good learning time. I'm needling you, Devini. We
Did
family.
he check raise in game?
He did check raise. He went to 54.
Okay.
Damn you, Affleck, with your smooth voice and your check raises.
We got some people giving up, give up. Check raises are usually strong. This is tough. Cats are getting shook now that he called the check raise.
He brought up a really good point, by the way, that people probably under defend versus small check raise. Like when you go that small, they're definitely going to need to peel some non-pairs, the backdoor flush draws, and they're probably just too many people will fold them. So I think it is cool to find extra check raises then.
Yeah, because everybody still c-bets range. I mean, c-bets appropriately wide nowadays, so they're definitely not continuing to check raises appropriate enough.
For sure.
Follow Tito if he check raise through. Oh, so you're gonna follow through? Follow through? Which side you going, Vinny? Tutorino's going 55 now. 2-3 is still a check raise. Follow that shit up with another check raise. Check raise, double check raise has been declared. Divini's going 95.
5,500 for smooth. Or 55,
all right, cool.
Yeah, 55,000.
Double check raise is kind of sick.
God, I don't have
the double check raise is nasty.
I don't have enough.
Yeah, I agree.
I actually did that. I did that like 2 days ago. I don't even know the time.
I can't remember.
I can't remember the time before that though.
Yeah. But yeah, Divini's going 95K. What's your line here, Jesse?
I think we check here a lot. The deuce is not a great card for us. First of all, we don't have that many check raises that have a deuce in them, I don't think. When we do, there's less now because a second deuce game, like combinatorically, we have less twos. And that means that we have less like two pairs that made boats, right? So like if we did check raise like deuce 4 or ace deuce, which is possible, there's less combos of those. There's already very few combos of deuce 4 because we only have the suited ones. Mm-hmm. And all of the 2s and 4s are different suits. So there's one combo left at 2-4 suited. It's just the hearts. Mm-hmm. And then you've got some ace deuce or whatever. And you've got some ace 4 for value, but this card's like pretty bad for like how many combos of value we now have. We have 3-5 suited. And then, so basically, like, I think it's already not a great card to bet. Once they've called, their range gets stronger, especially if we think they fold some of the hands that they're not supposed to fold, like queen, jack of spades or queen, jack of hearts or whatever. So you're going to be in a situation where I don't think they're going to be pretty hesitant to fold the turn with any ace. And they're going to have a lot of ace X when they've called the flop. You will I think theoretically you'll get some hands to call the flop and fold turn because no backdoor flush draws got there. So I think in theory you can do some betting, but this probably isn't the hand for it. Like the way I would look at this spot is I would divide it up into, I'm not always betting my bluffs. So which bluffs are better to bet? And the best bluffs would be something like 5-6 is no showdown value. And this hand has some showdown value. It doesn't win very often, but I'd rather bluff the hand that just can never win at showdown than the hand that can maybe win like 3% of the time or 8% of the time or whatever it is. So,
sure.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like we said, when feels like if they're over folding to check raises and they've called our check raise, they show up with a more condensed range. And we don't have all that many deuces since no deuce 4. You make some very good points. I find myself when they call the check raise in SPRs is shallow or out of position, probably check a lot. And if I do ever bet, it's mostly probably the small size. I don't know if we could use the big size. I don't know. Which size would you use if you were going to bet turn here? Would you go to 95, to 55, to 150 feels excessive, but
I think the block size is kind of cool because so there's like merit for both, but the block size puts a lot of, it makes their life really tough with those floats that we talked about. If they have them, like queen, jack of hearts, if you just bet like a third pot, they're my friends always say they're in hell.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely got a lot of merit. And then, of course, the bigger bet size puts a lot of pressure on like pocket tens. If you go the bigger size in Jam River, you put some pressure on like ace six or whatever, ace eight. But I think the block size seems really cool to me. If you're checking, if you're going to play a high frequency check on the turn, then when you do bet, you very likely want to just go big, because you have a bunch of value hands that do want to go big, right? Like you have boats here, you have a few boats, you have a few ace four combos, stuff like that, and those hands all want to just get the absolute max. So I do feel like it's going to end up just doing a lot of like 105 or whatever, or 110, and then Jam River. And then you just find the appropriate amount of bluffs in theory. But I think in practice, like if you think they're especially sticky, like the block size makes some sense. And you probably have some hands that would like to block on this turn. Like 4-5 is a good example of a hand that may like blocking turn, because you do want to deny equity to some of those like queen jack hands that actually have 6 outs versus you and clean up equity. Yeah, so maybe like a quarter pot block is appropriate sometimes.
Yeah, and also when you have the 4-5 here, like you have the best hand, a decent amount against those hands, like you were saying, queen jack and king queen, that 5 floaters, and then
you check, you get put in hell as well.
If you check, they bet, and you just can't call, right? Like you're just fucked, right? So you kind of buy, you kind of control the action.
Yeah, and you still keep your range pretty strong on account with some of the strongest hands. Yeah, I like that. If I were going to bet, it would probably only be small a lot. But I can see some merit for using a larger size as well. It just feels like with this SPR behind, I usually just go small. But we went so in depth. Davini's going 95.
Smooth actually doing the 55. So let's find out.
Let's see what I'm checking. Let's see.
So it's important to realize what range this player continues with when they call our check raise. This range is going to be very, very heavily condensed to like ace X and pocket pairs 5s through kings. If they call enough on the flop, they should have hands like king 9 of spades, queen jack of spades, queen jack of clubs. They should call with all these backdoor flush draws, but a lot of people overfold those hands on the flop, and that's why we're check raising this hand more kind of as an exploit here. So we need to proceed very, very cautiously. Once we get called here, we're actually going to be checking a ton on no matter what the turn card is, unless it's like a 3 or a 5. We're going to be checking a ton just because of how strong this range is. So I think checking is the best option here. If you're going to bet here, I think betting something like 95,000 is very good. We're just going to fold out those backdoor flush draw hands that bricked out, like queen jack of clubs. We're trying to fold out hands like that. I do check. This player checks back. The river is the 7 of diamonds. Should we check, bet 55,000, bet 95,000, bet 150,000, or go all in?
This is it. We're on the river. Final hand. What are we doing here? We turning our hand into a bluff?
For what it's worth, I think there is merit to your smaller size. Like he was talking about going 95 to fold out the floats.
Backdoor flush draw, floats, yeah. I
don't think you need to go that big necessarily.
No, I don't either. With the SPR that it's gonna, and I think the range is probably going to be an elastic if like he folding the king highs that floated and those back doors, the better king highs and stuff. They're probably just going to fold no matter what, right? Between 55 and 95, in my opinion.
Yeah, and if they don't, you can mix in some of like the block value hands that we talked about so that they get punished. Sometimes.
And we can also use that size maybe if we're trying to create an SPR, like to be able to just follow through and jam. We go quarter with that hand, some of our strongest hands as well. So you can see it.
Yeah, it's weird because this is a board where we don't have the top boat. Anytime you have the top boat, it's really nice to have a small size because you can just like easily mix in hands like top boat. But yeah. Maybe like ace deuce is a good hand to do that with because you block a lot of their strongest stuff.
Right.
And then rip river.
Chris says, this might be a good bluff candidate, but I'd give up here. Who's giving up? What are we doing?
Smooth giving up. He's checking.
Going through, checking. What are we doing here?
Kept checking. Caleb checking. 95 for me.
Davini, what are we doing, my dude? After checking turn, probably just check giving up. But if we gotta go polar 150 or rip it, check. Yeah, most people just giving up.
My first question is: this like a 1650 something on ACR, or is this like a 1K on GG?
Online tournaments,
I
my
have
friend.
different answer for it, depending on what part of my buy-in range I'm in.
Divini's going 95K. So he's sticking a bluff out there. He's sticking his toe in the fucking hot ass water.
95K for smooth as well.
All right. I don't know, man. I feel pretty fucking capped and I feel like he can still just pot control some ace-x in this spot in enough hands, and he has some pretty easy bluff catch. I mean, if it's like a go 95, we just get snapped off. And I mean, this hand might win. Feels like he should be turning some of those queen high in those hands that we would beat when we float. It feels like those hands should be just bluffing on a turn, maybe for a small size. But I don't feel like we win much. But I also don't know how we can. Range feels kind of capped to me. I probably check, but somebody could talk me into maybe making a bet. I don't know. You bluffing here, Toe?
Oh, there's definite sometimes.
Yeah, I know, right? There's some shit, but it just feels like so.
I overexploit this. God, he checked back the turn. I feel like he's gonna have some of his weak ace-x for sure. But if he's got like something, those pairs, fives through kings, like I just want to put him in hell.
Jam.
I'm real close between 150. I am.
Because you would say he capped the turn and just jam.
I might overexploit here. I can't help myself.
Yeah.
Not 90, like definitely not 95.
Yeah.
All those pairs just call.
150 are all in for me. Probably 150.
Or checking. Like checking is cool too.
Yeah, if I'm betting, it's 150 or all in.
Jesse,
I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this line is so devoid of value hands now that when you do randomly have a trap, like you have so many bluffs to pick from and so few value that you want to just pick like the largest size you can to get as many bluffs in as possible. So if I did bet, I'd be in the all-in camp. I wouldn't bluff this hand, but like,
sweet.
If you had like, queen 5 or jack 5 or something else you gave up with on the turn.
So again, you're kind of sticking to the fact that the king still has some showdown value, but if you had a lesser 5x hand, then it has more potential to be a bluff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so like on this board, we're probably checking more than on this turn card, we're probably checking a lot more than other turn cards. Mm-hmm. So like, let's say the turn was maybe a 6 or a 7, and then the river was like a 9 or a jack or something. Mm-hmm. So maybe we barrel a little bit of a higher frequency after check raising the flop. Then maybe you're at a point where your king 5 becomes a check on the turn and can actually bluff the river. But as played, I think that we give up with a lot of our bluffs on the turn. So like, let's say we do have like jack 5 with clubs. Sometimes you give up, or queen 5 of spades. Sometimes you give up. So you probably don't want to delve all the way up into king highs to bluff with on the river once you've checked.
You just have enough other bluffs that we can use rather than just our king highs. Yeah, I get it.
And then also he checked turn, so he could still have like queen jack of spades. That's like, man, I'm just going to show down at this point. Like that's not like terribly unreasonable. It's not going to come up very often, but
right. 95 here, Vinny and
smooth. I think said check.
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably just check.
Thank you for the gift sub, Chip Critic. I appreciate you. Check.
All right, I'm ready when you are.
So if we're going to bet here, our value range is going to be a lot of like ace-x hands and really strong hands that we checked on the turn. So when we bet here, we want to be betting large. There's not a lot of incentive for us to be betting small. So most of our betting range is just going to want to shove or bet full pot. As for bluffs, we probably have enough bluffs that don't contain like a king or a high card in it. We don't want to like having the king of hearts here is not very good because we block a hand like king queen of hearts, king jack of hearts, king 10 of hearts, king 9 of hearts. These are all hands that are going to fold to our raise. So we'd rather just bluff when we have like 5-6 or like 10-3 suited. We just don't want to have like a high card in and block some of the folding range. So the king of hearts is actually kind of a negative card to have here. So it makes it less effective as a bluff. You can still bluff here, betting like full pot or going all in, but I think probably checking and giving up here is the best option. which we do. We check, and then we face this small bet, and we're just not really doing anything about this, and just go ahead and fold our hand.
Yep, makes sense. Get me out. But yeah, we got a 22 toe.
33.
Oh, yes.
Jay did really well. Congratulations, buddy. Let me know how you want your money. Zudapair said, not a fan of this hand replay or the analysis.
Whoa.
I would say broaden your mind, man. I mean,
not a fan of the analysis.
Yeah.
What kind of two-head ass?
I just think, like, yeah, I mean, this hand is pretty standard, to be honest with you. And I'm probably over bluffing River tragically because I just can't control myself. But it makes
analysis was amazing. What
5-6, I take this hand down. I win.
Yeah, but our other analysis was titties, so that's pretty good.
That's
right?
true, right? Listen, sometimes
Right.
it can't always be titties, right?
I mean, titty seems like a pretty high rating.
It is.
Super high. Yeah, it's up there.
Or like 95% titty is pretty good. It's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Still pretty good.
That's like one. That's like 1.9 titties.
That's really. All right, guys. That's a wrap. Yeah.
Yes, sir. That is it. That was good, man. I really appreciate it today, Jesse. I mean, you always bring fresh air of intelligence, poker IQ to the stream, and it's fun talking these situations through with you, man. And we appreciate you coming through. It means a lot.
Yo, thank you guys. This is always really fun, so I really appreciate it too. I had a great time.
We will love having you guys. Make sure you check out Jesse on Twitter, Mr. Jesse James 4, right?
Yep.
That's right. I'm not looking at
I think so.
And then floptable.com. Here is the link to both Twitter and Floptable. Make sure you check it out. A lot of good content there. Like I said, if you've enjoyed the stream and you want to see it from the beginning or want to see any of the ones in the past, ! YouTube.
Ooh, shout out to Da Beats dropping my my one custom emoji I got.
There you go.
Little dog bone.
He's also a avid Floptable member. He's been there for a while.
Yeah, he loves it.
He does. Thanks, guys. YouTube in the chat, like I said. ! PC in the chat to sign up for free. PokerCoaching.com, where you get 20 of these quizzes. Big blind charge for 100 blinds or more, and homework assignments. If you sign up for premium, there's webinars with all these coaches. There's a wealth of good coaches on the roster. I mean, they're not as handsome as Sixes and I, but they're still hell of a good coaches. So check that shit out. And Sixes, did I miss anything?
No, you crushed it once again, my friend. Yeah, guys, thank you again for the support. Toe Army, good luck. Have a good weekend. Mafia, thank you guys for the support. And make sure to give our man Jesse some love. Follow his Twitter. Check out the site. We're always trying to provide value to you guys for supporting us and helping out, you guys reach your poker dreams. We're very happy and lucky in poker, and we want to be able to give back to you guys. So we appreciate it. And hit that follow button, and good luck this weekend, guys. Keep working.
Yeah, thank you for those 100 bits, Chip Critic, on the way out the door, too. Someone you want to throw it to?
Oh, I haven't even looked, man. I'm sure one of the usual suspects are out
I mean,
there.
I only see bras unless you want to do someone like, I don't know, Viva Saliba.
Let me see who I got. I usually, David K is a good guy as well. I've been supporting that stream as well. He works really hard. So let's give David K some support. And guys, thank you. And we're out of here.
See ya. Peace.
See you guys. Peace out. Hit that rate.